presentation on paleontology. And a lot of you are probably sitting there like, ugh, big word, science, ew, ugh, I don't know what that is, or I don't really get it, or whatever. But this is something that I'm truly passionate about, and I've been working my whole life towards. So paleontology is a study of prehistoric life, and it's basically life in the past. There are trace fossils, plants, animals, eggs, shells, burrows, footprints of any animal you can find. So these are some subdivisions of the geologic time period, geologic time scale, which is super fun. It's a chronological measurement that relates stratigraphy, which is the science that studies rock layers, and it relates that to time. They're broken up into supereon, eon period, epoch, and age. Okay, so I'm interested and I want to specialize in the Mesozoic, which is also subdivided into the Cretaceous, Jurassic, and Triassic, which you've probably all heard of. So that's when most of the dinosaurs flourished, I guess. So there are many areas of study involved with paleontology. There's plants, footprints, ancient forms of life, and their evolution. Dinosaurs are only a small piece of the geologic puzzle. So there's mollusks, plankton, worms, invertebrates, everything. So the common misconceptions is that obviously not only dinosaurs, geologic time is actually really complicated with all the subdivisions. Not an archaeologist, so I don't collect human artifacts, and paleontologists get paid very low, so if you want to live on mac and cheese for the rest of your life, this is a good job for you. Animals and evolution have always fascinated me, and I don't like mixing emotion with my jobs. Like, if I was a nurse and I'd have to comfort someone, I'd be more interested on what the cancer was. So I'd be like, you have cancer, like, that's really interesting. Like, I'm not good at consoling people, so I don't want to mix emotion with my job. You need some certain requirements to become a paleontology: geology, chemistry, biology. I don't like astronomy, but I have to do it anyway, so I'll live with it. So there are 3 basic goals of paleontology, which is describing creatures that lived on Earth many years ago and creating a more full picture of the time scale and how everything kind of fit together in evolution, and developing new ideas about it. So this is important for the world today because we can see how the Earth has changed naturally and how fast we are changing it based on global warming or natural causes, like when Pangea split up, like what happened, how fast did that happen, what were the consequences. My favorite dinosaur is the Velociraptor. So they were actually pretty small. They're the size of turkeys. Males guarded the eggs, much like seahorses. Hollywood kind of lied in Jurassic Park. They did not look like this. They had feathers, and they basically just didn't look like that at all. There was a dinosaur mummy that was found with all the tendons intact. Basically everything was there. DNA, skin. There it is. It's pretty. It's a hadrosaur, and it was basically a duck-billed herbivore, which I thought was really interesting because now we can see what it looked like. We will never be able to clone dinosaurs ever. There's not enough DNA. It doesn't survive that long. It doesn't survive over 65 million years. That doesn't happen. It breaks down, and it's just not possible. So, recent descendants. Most people think that dinosaurs are related to lizards, but they're actually more closely related to birds. This was proven when they realized that some dinosaurs had feathers, could have been warm-blooded, had fused clavicles, and many other things that related to birds. The typical day of a paleontologist is not always in the field looking for little dinosaurs and digging up stuff in the hot sun. It's going back to the lab and analyzing things, which I'm really interested in, and then talking about it, bouncing around ideas. The whole point of science is disproving other theories so yours stands out, not proving your theory in general. This is really interesting because they found a Protoceratops and a Velociraptor basically fighting, but it was fossilized. So they died simultaneously while directly interacting, which is a huge discovery. Polar dinosaurs. I went to a conference at UNCW the other day and talked about paleontology. Polar dinosaurs, Australia was 2,000 miles south, so it was very cold. So they could have been warm-blooded to survive in the snow, and they could have migrated, which makes me think they were related to birds more closely. Taphonomy is a really important part of paleontology because it relates how organisms fossilize and what that has to do and how they fossilize, basically, so it's obviously a big part. The Mesozoic era was very humid, and that's when things started to get bigger. So it was basically like dry in the Triassic when dinosaurs started. Then in the Cretaceous, then in the Jurassic and Cretaceous, it started getting more humid, so things got bigger. Extinction is one of the biggest disputed things. So there are many theories about it, but I think all of these combined probably contributed, like mammals outcompeting dinosaurs, volcanoes spewing. The meteorite happened, but I'm not sure if it was one factor. It could have been all of them together. And it took a long time for this to happen, so it wasn't like a big thing that just wiped them out. It took like a really long time for them to go extinct. So a lot of your faces are kind of like really confused. So that's basically what paleontology is, and I want to do that for the rest of my life.
Awesome. All right.